All right. We are back at Grit Won't Quit podcast today. We have a very special guest, someone who I met through the K-Chev network. We have Natalie from Property Transfer Services. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, Tommy. How are you?
I am great. The first time you and I met, you were sponsoring a K-Chev event. You really didn't know what you were sponsoring, but you wanted to be part of it. And you called me up and you said, here's my credit card so I can get the sponsorship. I don't want anyone else getting the sponsorship in my category. And from there, we met at the event, and we've developed a nice friendship. You came to the Belmore grand opening, and you brought us a very cool scent for our Belmore location through your hobby business.
Yes.
And then you've been to a couple of lunch and learns, and you've been to a few more K-Chev events, and all of a sudden we put out a post on Facebook looking for female women entrepreneurs who have pushed through the hustle, and you were like, I got to fill this out.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, that's me.
So we've done about 70 podcasts, like we were just talking about off camera. And at one point, when Taylor and I and Andrew and John were looking at the podcast, we had over-indexed in males that were on the podcast. So we said, let's go on a search for some female entrepreneurs, and I think if we look at all the podcasts released, it's closer to a 50-50, which is where I wanted it to be. So I'm glad that you came on.
Thank you.
Kind of let's talk about it. How long have you been in the business?
So in title, I am in title about 21 years.
All right.
And with Property Transfer Services this October, I started with Property Transfer Services in October of 2005. So 19 years. I'm with Mike.
The same company.
At the same company.
That's impressive. That's unheard of in this day and age.
I'm there 19 years. It's a family. We go through our ups and downs with the market. But you just gotta when it gets slow, it's when you learn new things and you think of things outside of the box to get new business. So that's what we do, and we're very proud. Like we always say, we are really proud because through all the ups and downs, we've remained standing, and I love what I do.
That's fantastic. And what got you into title?
Oh God, Tommy. So I grew up in the restaurant business. So my family owned a bar restaurant up in West New York.
Okay.
So at 9 years old, my mother started me on weekends. I'd be like the coat check girl, back when they would have a coat check.
Yeah.
And then I gradually worked my way to the bus girl, waitress. And I always grew up around food. My Sicilian family are huge cooks. So I started cooking from a little girl with my family. So I always loved and interested me is restaurant. So I was food and beverage manager of the Atlantic Club in Manasquan for years. And a neighbor owned a title company, and she kept saying to me, I need somebody like you in my company. And I was saying, I don't even know what title is. I don't know anything about it. She's like, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you. So I gave my notice. I gave 6 months notice at the Atlantic Club because it was like March, but I was not going to leave them for the summer.
Yeah,
because the summer is so
crazy.
busy. We have the outside pool, the corporate picnics, just so much going on, the hiring of the staff. And so
You're a good egg.
I gave 6 months notice, and I would go in like here and there to learn things at her title company. But my main focus was making sure that everybody was okay at the Atlantic Club. And then I started working at her title company. I learned a lot, but then personal matters happened for her. She closed up the title company. And at that time, it was like a little bit of a crazy time for me because I was 2 little ones and separated.
So how long after you quit Atlantic Club, went to her, were you there?
About 1.5 years.
Okay. So you learned enough. over that time?
I learned.
You learned enough to stay in the business.
I learned so much, but there is so much. If anyone is in title knows, there's so much to learn. Everything is like Japanese in the beginning, reading searches, learning how to read someone's survey. It's a lot. And I'm one where if I do something, I have to know every bit of that product of what I'm doing or I'm not doing. It's like going to sell pharmaceuticals and not knowing the ingredients, you know?
Sure.
So when she closed up, I wasn't working and I didn't really want to work. I thought I wanted to take a few months for different reasons. And then another friend of mine was working for Mike and said, this guy really needs help.
Sounds like you're like one of those people, like when people need help, you're the girl to call.
I always, with my friends, and I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
That is great. That's a great characteristic to have.
Thank you. So she asked me if I would come in a few hours a week and help out, but it would be like quietly, you know, like it wasn't
behind the scenes.
I was behind the scenes. So
you weren't the front of the house.
Right. And that's how I wanted it to be. So it worked around my kids' school schedules. Again, my daughter was in kindergarten, my son was in 4th grade. So it was really worked out for me. So when I went in, I helped where they needed me, what they needed me to do, and I would go in a few hours here, a few hours there when I could, and then next thing I know, I'm there. We started getting really, really busy, and then Mike had said, will you work full time? I said, only if I can leave to go get my kids off the bus, but we are a very family-oriented company. Babies galore, everybody having babies, and Mike allows the girls to bring the baby in. He says until they become mobile, but it's gone past that. Mm-hmm. So our office is very baby friendly, kid friendly. So I was able to get my kids off the bus. And if things were crazy at the office, go back to the office and continue working with them where like they'd get desks to do their thing. And I would continue working.
Do their homework
whatever.
And hang out. And
exactly.
Look at their iPads.
Right. And sometimes I'd have a friend that would come to the office and grab them for me and bring them back to their house till I was done. So lots of hands.
You're like Erin Brockovich.
It was lots of hands in the pot helping me to continue on over there. And like I said, Mike is a really good guy and very good to everybody. So, yeah, and then I started to get sales, not ever knocking on one door. It would be like, okay, my friend I grew up with up North Jersey, where I come from, opened Century 21. So when first of all, I fought starting Facebook. When all my friends that I grew up with were like, you gotta go on Facebook,
you weren't having it?
That one's on. I'm like, absolutely not. No way. So it took a school friend of mine like a year to get me to finally
join the revolution.
Join it. So that was in 2009. And then I had friends that saw like my, the section you fill out what you do, that I work at a title company. So I had friends who own Century 21, who I grew up with, that's now a real estate attorney. And they were messaging me like, hey, reach out to me. I own a real estate company. Reach out to me. I do real estate. So I was reaching out and I started getting work like that. And then that's pretty much still how I get my business is that way, because I am not one to walk in an office and I'm just, you know me. Mm-hmm. Remember the first night I showed up at Kevin's
you were
event?
So nervous at Joe Bella's.
No, like to walk in to a crowd of
Shout
people
out to Joe Bella.
Yeah, good food.
Joe's a great guy.
Excellent. Super nice guy, and the food is excellent.
Have you ever had his pesto? Oh my gosh.
Whatever he puts out when we go there, there's
pesto.
Nothing I could say that I don't like. Yeah.
Joe, great job.
My daughter told me that before I went, because when she said, where are you going? And I said, they're having it at a place in Tom's River, Joe Bella's. My daughter said, Mom, you're going to love it. The food's great.
The food is on point there.
Yeah, definitely.
I live in Ocean Township, which is, and me and my wife probably go down to Joe Bella's at least once a month. Like, it's a 40-minute drive. So you really have to like it. Like, by the time all said and done.
You have to really like it to drive 40 minutes.
And there's a lot of Italian places that you pass in between. Yeah. And I love his food.
When I first moved down here 30 years ago from Bergen County, My one thing was I was going to miss so much all our good. First of all, I'm 10 minutes from the city. We used to go into the city
Yeah,
and eat,
sure.
and all the good Italian restaurants. When we came down here, there was nothing.
Now
you
there
couldn't even
is.
find sushi down here. Were no good food. The first restaurant that opened that I was like, finally, we got a good place was the Shipwreck in Brielle.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my that was the first place
Yeah.
that
It's
opened.
a great restaurant.
But when we first moved down here, we would drive on the weekends all the way up to Newark to go eat because there were
crazy.
no places
Yeah.
down here. Now it really.
But now there's really some great places, and now
Yes, it's definitely developed. Yes,
some
absolutely.
great chefs doing some great things out here.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So your business is all based on referral, and because you wear you wear your heart on your sleeve. Like so, people know that. Again, the people when they look to hire you, they know because you'll help everybody. You'll do and you'll do the best that you physically can, and that's why these people came to you. So your whole business is built on this whole referral and doing the right thing for people.
It's not, and my friend Dave, he did on our website. You get people. I haven't even asked anybody lately, but they write. What do you call referral?
Reviews.
Review
management.
My friend Dave always says, this girl has her phone on 24/7. And I do. And my underwriter sees how well I do, and I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
And my underwriter, Chuck, who's the vice president of Old Republic, he says, Nat, you know why you do so good? Because people love you. I know my stuff. If somebody calls me and has an issue like this file needs to close tomorrow, but the seller's attorney didn't get a payoff for the judgment, I know exactly how to handle that. So I call my underwriter, we hold what we have. Every problem there's an answer to. And I know title. So if there's an issue, I open up the title, but one of my girls typed it. I'm able to jump on from home and look at exactly what's happening. And I after 20 years, I learned a lot. So, yeah.
You've learned it all.
Yeah, I love it. I learned it all, and it's a tough business to stay in with the ups and downs.
Is it just because of just because of how the housing market's been that makes it so crazy?
We never have a medium.
Yeah. So you're either super busy or you're super trying to find new ways to close work to keep everybody back to super busy.
Exactly.
So you're really always on a hunt. You're on the hunt to always keep new people, and I'm sure that there's people trying to outdo each other to get people's business.
During the low rates back from like 2016 through 21, I didn't want any new business. I like to give, if I can't give 150% of myself, I'd rather have 10 clients that I'm keeping super happy than 20 that I'm not giving the attention that they need.
How big is the company?
We're huge. We're New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Florida.
Wow.
So we do 4 states.
And how many agents are how many title people like yourself are in each?
So in my office, we have approximately 16. We had to lay a few off with what's going on and and cut back some hours, but hopefully we'll be back up. And then in the Florida office, I'm not sure how many Mike has. I think around 6 girls in the Florida office. And then we do Pennsylvania and New Jersey out of our Jersey office, and then New York and Florida out of our Florida office.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
He's really built a great business, and again, how long has he been in business?
Oh, God. Mike, I think Property Transfer, he opened it in 1996, I want to say, was when he opened it. And he tells us the story all the time. He borrowed a couple $100s from his father and down in his parents' basement, and he bought a typewriter. This was before computers. And that he started title in his parents' basement with a typewriter. And that's how he started Property Transfer Service.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and when things, like I said, when we got so busy, you can't find anybody anymore in our business. They're not out there. When we needed help, when we were so busy, some of us had no life for like 5 years. It was 7 days a week.
Just get it done.
Yeah, we'd go in at like 6 in the morning, leave at 11 at night, and sometimes I'd leave at 11 at night and get home, open my laptop back up and be at the dining room table, continue working. My daughter would come out of her room and be like, Mom, you have to go to bed. I'm like, I can't. We'd be literally, a couple of us would just call FaceTime Mike, he lives in Florida, with tears. He was trying so hard to find us help. But my underwriter said that back in like 2009, 10, when the market crashed, a lot of title companies closed down.
Yeah.
And the people that worked there, they found new careers that they make more money and less stress, because it is very stressful. They're not coming back, so it's very hard to find anybody in the industry. We were getting hundreds of resumes, and Mike hired several new people, and he would call us and be like, okay, I found somebody. Their resume's great. They know all this. They'd come in. They were a bank teller at a bank, or they worked at a title company, and when the closers would come back with packages, they'd scan them in. Like, we needed people that knew how to prepare settlement statements or read and examine. So any new person we hired, we couldn't even, they were zero. It made your life more difficult. So
now you have a good team, though. That's and again, at this point in time, you have the right amount of resources.
Right.
And but and where do you feel like the rate is going to go this year? Because the rate seems to drive.
I think the rates are going to drop. I think they're going to happen in the fall. I don't think we're going to see in our lifetime what we had under 3% again. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But in our business, there's no crystal ball. And it seems, we were talking about it at my office, it seems to happen overnight. It's like we could go from where we are now, wake up tomorrow, rates dropped, and the craziness just starts. There's no forewarning.
Yeah.
So I needed the break. I'll be honest with you, mentally, it was
a good break.
I needed the break, but now I'm ready to roll again. Like, now
You're prepared. You're ready to get back into combat.
I used to cry and say to Mike, I don't even care about the money anymore. I don't want to make money. I have no life. I don't get to see my family. But I was even my dog grew up at Property Transfer, my Semper. I got him at 16 weeks old. He's now 10. From the day I got him, he was our therapy dog. We used to call him our therapy dog.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're ready for round 2. You're ready for the
I'm
next
ready.
You're ready for the revival. You're ready to get back in the ring.
Yeah, I am. I'm definitely ready to get back and work again.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, like I said, the break was great, but I'm not complaining either. I have very loyal clients that only use me for their stuff. Some of the attorneys where I would get 6 to 10 new purchase contracts a month, I get 2 to 3, and I'm so grateful. Everything in life, I just feel so grateful. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about the side fun business you have.
My Scentsy.
Scentsy.
Yeah. So, oh my God, back in like 2018, we were at a craft show. My daughter-in-law, my friend Adrian, and there was a girl with this table. And I walked up, I go, what is all this? She said, it's Scentsy. I go, what is that? So it's warmers and the wax, and you melt the wax and bop, bop, bop. So I bought a warmer from her. I bought wax from her. And then she called me a few weeks later and asked if I would be interested in having a house party for her, and you earn free product. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for you. So I had all the girls from the office, my neighbors, everybody came over, and we had a Scentsy party. And then she kept saying to me, so now she's my consultant, right? But I was so busy at work that when she would call me and say, hey, we got a new line of products that came out, I'd be like, Colleen, you have my credit card. Just order whatever you think I'd like. I have no time to look at it. Like, I'm lucky I have enough time to brush my teeth. I used to tell people, just order me whatever you think I'd like. And she would just order for me and send it to me. So then she started saying, I really need somebody like you on my team. I'm like, are you crazy? I don't have a life
coming back.
now.
I feel like that's the tagline. I need someone like you.
Yeah. So I was like, there's no way, Colleen. Well, my daughter was in school in Maryland, and her job outside of school was watching these twin girls. The parents were divorced, so they 1 week the kids were with the mom, 1 week the kids are with the dad, and wherever they were, my daughter would get them at school, go to the mom's house or the dad's house, do their homework, get them to their stuff. The dad's wife got pregnant, and it was right when the pandemic started. So my daughter lived in a house with 8 girls, and understandably and respectfully, totally, they didn't want her watching the girls anymore, only because she lived with 8 girls and his wife was pregnant.
Fair.
We absolute 100. My daughter cried only because she didn't miss the girls, but we totally understood. So now my daughter moves back home because Maryland closes, everything shuts down.
Yeah.
So she's back home, and I said, Jack, you should look into the Sensi with Colleen. So we call, I go, I'll help you, but you would have to do everything because I don't have time. Very long story short, we call Colleen. Colleen's ecstatic about it. So we start Melt with Nat and Jack, we named it. My name Natalie, her name Jacqueline. So we started doing that, and then we started getting house parties through friends here. It wasn't house parties, let me reframe that. Facebook parties online because of everything.
Because of COVID.
Right. And then when everything started to get better, we did a couple house parties, which I don't do anymore. It's too much work. So we started doing that, and now I have that. But that's just, listen, I think I make maybe a couple $100 a month doing it, but I give it right back to Sensi because
But you enjoy
I
it.
buy it. Oh, I love that. We love home fragrance. I have my YouTube channel. It's all pretty much my cooking. I do recipes on my YouTube channel. I share recipes and home fragrance. And I met so many great friends on YouTube that also love home fragrance. And now we're in like
a little
group texts.
community. Yeah.
We are a community, and we want to do a wax a convention. So we're all talking about it. I'm like, we got to do it in Atlantic City because everybody's all over.
Yeah.
California, Missouri, everywhere. So we're talking now about doing like a home fragrance convention in Atlantic City. What better place than that? And everybody's in. So yeah,
Great.
I love home fragrance. Love it.
That's so
So I have
cool.
my Sensi going on. I have Title, but Title always comes first because that's who I am.
Understood. That's
Yeah.
so great. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's so cool. You've totally expanded upon things, and it sounds like what it sounds like is that you give 110% to everybody, and everybody realizes that.
Yeah, that's my family. I come from a very Sicilian family, and my grandmother and aunts used to always say, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it at all. And that was always glued in my brain. When you do something, and I just to say it to my kids, either do it right or don't do it at all. My grandmother used to say, if you're going to cook it for 4 people, there's no difference to cook it for 20. Like, she used to say, cook it for 4, cook for 20, no difference.
I agree with that. I agree with that philosophy. Once you're gonna dirty the pans, and pots, might as well just make it forever.
Yeah, and they're very, like, with their
More
gardens.
people need to think like you, because I think that the world would be a better place if everyone just gave 110.
Always.
My feeling is if I'm going to come to work, I want to get as much done as possible.
Absolutely. If I'm going to wake up in the morning and put my feet on the ground, and I have to do my very best, whether it's family, like when my kids call and they need help with the little ones.
All in.
Always. I live for that.
All in. Let's go.
I do. I live to help others, and I live to get those reviews that my friends give me to say, this girl will always answer her phone. My friend Dave said, that's what I told. This girl will always answer her phone and is always there to help you. And I am, whether it's business or my friends.
That's so great.
So
I loved it. I'm so glad you came on. I'm so glad that you found that form. I'm so glad you filled it out.
I'm so happy to have met you.
I'm so happy that Taylor reached out to you and you and her connected. This was great.
Thank you.
As we wrap up today,
yes,
let people know where to find you for your title stuff, for your Sensi stuff. If they just want to be part of the community or be your friend, because it sounds like you're a great person.
Thank you. So I'm not big on Instagram, so I'm not going to even
Don't even go there.
No, because my YouTube channel takes up a lot of my free time. So my YouTube channel is Jersey Shore Living _ Natalie Mal. And then my Facebook page is my name. It's Natalie, and then my maiden name, Charamella Maldonado. So Natalie, and
Say
then
that 5 times.
yes. Well, that middle one, my maiden name is CIARAMELLA, and then Maldonado. So if you join there, and then I have a Sensi Facebook page. But if you go to my YouTube channel, my Sensi page is there. My property transfer service is there. My phone number is, I'll give it, 732-284-76, I don't even know where I'm looking, 7635.
Say it again since you're in the middle of that.
732-284-7635. If you're buying a house, give me a call. I can help you 100% through it all. We are the Property Transfer Services is your title company. Best service, best support. And if I'm doing it, just sit back and relax.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to say have a great day. Have
Thank
a nice
you.
weekend. And
Thank you for having me. I
was
love
great.
it here.
I'm glad you came.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.